Couple, Jessica wondered. They carrying? Negative. Two behind you, Jess, a third voice reported anxiously. Casual dress, white shirt and red shirt, both are carrying. That's 6, Jessica realized. You think they're all on the same team, or is there more than one interested party here? Weapons are all the same, the first voice reported. Jixian stunners, the low-power kind that don't set off the cheap detectors most of these building owners use. How much is this guy carrying? Jessica wondered aloud. I don't know, but I think we should be charging more, the first voice replied. 3 keep on the couple across the street, Jessica instructed over her hidden comset. 2 on the ones in the suits, 1 stay on the target group. What about the 2 behind you? The first voice inquired. I'll handle them, you just keep on the target in case one of his men is in on this. If that case gets away from us, we don't get paid. Copy. Jessica slowed her pace, taking a less efficient path between pedestrians moving in the opposite direction, so as not to appear obvious to the 2 men approaching from behind. Target is approaching the intersection, the first voice warned. You should be turning to the right. The 2 men in casual attire passed Jessica to her right, neither of them paying her any undue attention as they picked up their pace. My 2 have picked up speed, Jessica warned in a barely audible voice. She moved to her right, falling in behind the 2 men in casual attire, then adjusted her pace to keep up with them. Target has stopped, the first voice reported in a concerned tone. Suits are crossing the intersection, the second voice announced. They're drawing. Take them out, Jessica whispered, her eyes fixed on the 2 men in front of her. The man on the right, the one wearing the red shirt, pulled a stunner from his right pocket. 2 bright blue needle-like beams of energy struck the 2 men in suits who were advancing confidently across the intersection as they pulled their weapons. The beams struck each man in the middle of their heads, burning through their skulls in an instant and dropping them in the middle of the street. Tires screeched as the vehicles slammed on their brakes. People screamed and pedestrians scattered in all directions as 2 more beams of blue struck the couple charging in from the opposite side of the street. Jessica ran forward. After 3 steps, she tucked forward, placing both hands on the ground and flipped over, popping up into the air. Her feet struck the men in front of her, both red and white shirts, in the sides of their heads, knocking them sideways. The black-suited guard, standing to the back right of the old man carrying the metal briefcase, had pulled his weapon, but instead of turning to defend, he shot the similarly dressed guard in front of him. His partner to his left did the same, dropping the guard in front of him. Jessica landed on both feet, then spun around to face the red-shirted man to her left who had not fallen all the way to the ground. His stunner still in hand, he brought it around and fired. Jessica anticipated his move and dropped to the ground, spinning around to her left as she fell. Her left leg shot out and caught the red-shirted man's leg, taking him down. She rolled, came back up to her knees, and then slammed down with her right elbow, driving it into the fallen man's nose. As a needle beam of blue struck the rear right guard in the back of the head, the rear left guard pulled a laser knife and in a single smooth motion chopped off the old man's forearm. The old man screamed out in pain as he fell to his knees. Jessica rolled, pulling the body of the stunned, bleeding red-shirted man over her as his white-shirted partner fired his stunner in her direction. The yellow flash struck the red-shirted man on top of her, instantly rendering him unconscious. "I've got it," a man's voice cried out a few meters ahead of her. "The case is on the move," the first voice reported over Jessica's comset. Another blue needle beam struck the white-shirted man square in his chest as he was about to fire his stunner again. The white-shirted man's eyes doubled in size as he gasped for air, a sizzling hole now in his chest. Before he could look down at the wound, a second blue beam pierced his forehead with a crackling sound. The white-shirted man's head snapped back, and he dropped to his knees, falling backwards to the pavement. "The case is moving west, crossing the street. Anyone got a shot?" "Negative. Too many bystanders. I've got nothing." 3, move to the other side of the building and see if you can pick him up on the other side, Jessica instructed as she pushed the unconscious red-shirted man off of her and quickly scrambled to her feet. 3 is moving. 1 scan for secondaries, Jessica ordered as she ran in pursuit of the black-suited man who had hacked off the arm of the man he had supposedly been protecting, making off with the metal briefcase still attached to the old man's forearm. "I'm on him." 2 more coming from behind you, the second voice warned. "Hit the deck, Jess." Jessica didn't question her instructions and immediately dove to the pavement as 2 balls of yellow light streaked over her head, slamming into innocent bystanders desperately trying to get away from the commotion, knocking them to the pavement. 2 more beams of blue rained down from above, striking the 2 men who had just fired stunners at Jessica, killing them both. "You're clear," the second voice reported. Jessica jumped to her feet to continue her pursuit, but had lost sight of her target. "Which way?" "Straight ahead down the street to your left," the first voice instructed.